Hello. So the first thing we are going to be learning is, why do we need to set goals? Why do we need to set goals? And the second will be goals and reticular activating system. The third will be how to set achievable goals. The next one will be goal setting is not enough. And lastly, I'll be ending with next step now. So let's just dive in quickly to why we are here this evening. So why goals? Why do we need to set goals? I believe personally that the most important question is asking yourself why. That is why they tell us the reason, our purpose is the reason why we are born. So that's why they preach it in church. They tell us everywhere, why are you here on earth? Why are you there? Why are you here? So the most important question is why. Until you find out the why, you might not be motivated to do certain things. So it's the why that serves as trigger to help us achieve anything we want to achieve. So why do we need to set goals? The first important reason is man is a goal-seeking animal. That's just the way we are naturally wired. God has instilled it in us to always seek after something. That is why one of the reasons why you will be frustrated in anything you do is if you don't have goals. You will surely be frustrated because that is how we are naturally wired. When the Bible says, be fruitful, I think that's Genesis 1:28, be fruitful, multiply, subdue. What does that communicate to us? It communicates to us that we need to always strive towards something, because your goal is what you are trying to achieve. It's the imagination of the future. It's where you are heading to. So man is a goal-seeking animal. You just have to keep setting goals. That's one of the reasons why you need to set goals. The second reason is that goals bet intentionality and focus. Goals bet intentionality and focus, which means when you have goals, you'll be more intentional with the way you live your life, because you know what to do part-time at every point in your life. Most times we don't know what to do just because we are not being intentional. We don't have goals, which means we won't be intentional. So when you have goals, you'll be intentional with the places you go, the type of friends you keep, what you do part-time. You'll be less distracted. That's one of the advantages of goals. So another thing is, goals help you make quantum leap. Goals, it helps you make quantum leap. It helps you move from zero to being an hero. It helps you shift forward. It helps you make improvements in your daily life. So now that we know the reason, we know the why. But the why is not enough. So my next slide says, if you don't set goals, anything goes. This actually started as a conversation with one of my friends, and I was telling her about goal setting, and she told me, if you don't set goals, anything goes. Which means whatever the result you have, you just accept it like that. If it is mediocrity, you accept it like that. If it is things less than excellence, you accept it like that, just because you don't have somewhere you are going. So if you don't set goals, anything goes. If you set goal that you are going to, let's say you are going to work, you will surely go to that work because you have the goals. But if you don't set the goal, you can go anywhere. That's the same way. The result you will produce in your life is as a result of the goals you set. Which means if you are not setting those goals, then you won't be producing those results. So your number one goal is a gardener. Here's the way I view our life. Our life is like a garden, a fertile garden. God has embedded a lot in all of us. He has given us a lot, both in cash, in kind, everything. I believe that man is all about abundance. The creation, our mind is fertile. But here is it. We have the fact a land is fertile does not mean it will give you the desired result, which means you must be intentional about what you plant on the fertile land. Which means if you don't take care of your garden very well, weeds will grow. Things you don't want in your life to happen will happen. Your number one goal is a gardener. What's the role of a gardener? The role of a gardener is to make sure the garden is kept. Is to make sure there's fruit, there's abundance. Everything on the land germinates. So that's your number one goal. Your number one goal is to serve as a gardener of your life, to cast out every weed in your life, and to birth something great. So you have to start seeing yourself as a gardener. And as a gardener, you must make sure everything on your garden is perfect so that you get the desired result. And how can you get the desired result when you are not setting goals? So if peradventure you don't have goals for the year, if peradventure you don't have goals for the month, if peradventure you don't have goals, it's time to set those goals. Because your number one goal is a gardener. Even if you are not taking anything away from our session this evening, you should be more intentional. You should start seeing yourself as a gardener. That means whatever you pay attention to, a lot of things that happen to you. So let's move to the next one. So it is goals and reticular activating system. I'm a behavioral therapist, so I know more of neuroscience. And here is the reticular activating system. The reticular activating system is a part of the brain that has a diffuse network of nerve pathways in the main stem, connecting the spinal cord, cerebrum, and cerebellum, and mediating the overall level of consciousness. What I'm trying to say is that we have a part in our brain, is a neural pathway that helps us to focus. It brings things to our consciousness. So it is those things we've predetermined, the expectation we have, that is what the reticular activating system will bring to our consciousness. Which means if you have goals of owning, I don't know if this happens to you. Maybe you have a particular car you desire, and you notice that you start seeing the car everywhere. It is the reticular activating system at work. It is bringing to your consciousness your expectation. So that's the same way goals affect our reticular activating system. When you set goals, the reticular activating system starts noticing those things related to your goals. Like you see here, it starts making you attract people, things, places, situations, and opportunities into your life. So once you set some goals, you start noticing that is either you see people that can help you achieve those goals, is either you see things that can help you achieve those goals, is either you see some places you can go that will help you achieve those goals. So your role is just to be intentional about setting goals. When I set goals to write my book, I started seeing how my book can be a success. So just set the goals, and your reticular activating system will do the work of attraction. I hope we are all following me. So now we know the why.
Yes, we are.
Which is good. We know the purpose why we need to set goals. But the truth is that the why is not enough. The why is not enough. You have to know how. So it's not enough to know that why we need to set goals. Some of you even know why you need to set goals. But the problem is that most people don't know how to set goals. As a matter of fact, most people don't know how to set achievable goals. So I'm going to be taking us on a journey to know how to set achievable goals. So the first thing I'm going to be saying is that you have to think long term. Who am I? Who will I be 5 years from now, 10 years from now? What are the things I would have achieved? Which countries would I have traveled to? Just think of your life long term. One of the gifts God gives to everybody is imagination. Right here, I can imagine that, oh, I'm speaking to 1 million people. I'm traveling the world, spending a night in each country. So God give us the gift of imagination. So unleash that gift. Think long term. What will your life be 10 years from now? How will your life be 5 years from now? What type of cars? What type of house will you be living? So think long term. So here is a quote by Matthew Kelly. Most people underestimate what they can do in a day. Most people overestimate what they can do in a day. Every day, we just want to do several things. We overestimate what we can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in a month. If you look at your month, you will be like, wow, I do a lot of things this month. We overestimate what we can do in a year and underestimate what we can accomplish in a decade. This 2020, think of your life last 10 years. You never knew that you would be where you are presently. So we underestimate next 10 years. If I tell you, think of next 10 years, a lot of things would have happened in your life that you never know would happen. That is why it is important to think long term. Because most times we overestimate what we are doing presently and underestimate what we can do in 10 years. 10 years ago, if someone tells me, Mike, you'll be doing what you are doing now, I would peradventure not believe. And I'm sure life compounds. That's just the way life works. Life compounds. So think long term. What do you think you would have achieved 10 years from now? What do you think you would have achieved 5 years from now? So now, after you think long term, highlight all those things. The type of places you want to go, everything about what you think is possible next 10 years, next 5 years. Okay, let's pick it from 5 years because that's personally what I do. Next 5 years, what do you think is possible? Then reverse engineer to 1 year. Reverse engineering means you've seen the end. You are now coming back to the beginning to start. What can I do to now get to the vision, to where I've imagined? Then you have to start taking baby steps towards the future, the 10 years you've imagined. So it is not enough to know that, to think long term. You have to come back to the present. Reverse engineer your journey back to 1 year. This year, 2020. This is the beginning of the decade. Then reverse engineer the beginning of next decade to the beginning of this decade. What are the things you should start doing? So now, after you reverse engineer your journey back to 1 year, then you have to break them down to quarterly goals. For example, what out of those things you think you should do this year, break them down into quarterly goals. Break them into January to April, May to another 4 months. So break them down into break them down into quarterly goals. Then after you set those quarterly goals, break them down into monthly goals. After you set the monthly goals, break them down to what you can do weekly to achieve those monthly goals. Your monthly goals will be what you can do monthly to achieve those quarterly goals. Your quarterly goals will be what you can do quarterly to achieve your yearly goals. I hope we are all following. Then those weekly goals, what you can do daily to achieve those weekly goals. Because life is all about simplicity. Honestly, it's all about simplicity. And that's one of what we are doing in Quarter Life Up. We want to make simple. When I had my I think it was first or second meeting with Oluwatoyin, both of us, we are committed to simplicity. So if you are looking for something complex, this hub is not for you. Honestly, it's not for you. But if you are looking for something simple, then you are in the right place. And I'm sure by making things simple, next 6 months, your life will surely get improvement than where it is today. Think of your life just next 6 months. And if after 6 months you've not seen improvement, there's a problem because it's not possible. But you are making every process simple. So let's move to the next thing. So after you make sure that you break down your quarterly goals to monthly, you move from monthly to weekly, you move from weekly to daily. You have to always ask yourself, what 3 things can I achieve today that would ensure I have a great day? What 3 things? You don't have to do 70 things in a day because it's all about simplicity. Even just don't let me go there. It's all about simplicity. What 3 things can I achieve today that will ensure I have a great day? Personally, I notice when I start my day with prayer, I most times I have a great. So I highlight what 3 things can I do today to make sure I have a great day. I can do more than those 3 things. But me doing those 3 things shows that, oh, Mike, you've spent your day well. So I like those things you can do. Just 3 things you can do daily that will draw you closer to your weekly goals. Those things you can do daily that will draw you closer to your weekly goals. So now, I believe we've all heard this several times. SMART. Yes, it is important your goals is smart. It is just very, very important. You can't help it. So what was SMART is an acronym of specific. You must have exact thing you want to achieve. I want to make money is not a specific goal. How much do you want to make? How much do you want to make? I want to finish the Bible. It's not specific. How many pages do you want to read? How do you intend? So you must be specific. You must be specific with your goals. The next thing is your goals must be measurable. When you achieve it, you must be able to know. One of the easiest things to track is activity. So your goal must be measurable. Another thing is achievable. There must be possibility of achieving those goals. So your goals must be achievable. The next one is realistic. It must be realistic. And the last one is the timely. You must attach time to your goals. What exact time do I want to achieve those goals? What exact time? Is it on the 5th of January 2020? On the 10th, 30th of February of February? That doesn't exist anyway. on the 29th of February. This is what I want to achieve. So your goals must be timely. So yes, another thing I want us to pay attention to. Ask yourself, why do I want to achieve those goals? Because here is it. Human being are drawing, there are major things that advise us. Is either we are going away from pain or we are going towards pleasure. So those 2 things drives us. Personally, what is driving me this year is to complete my parent house. Honestly, that's one of my drive this year. So you have to know. So when I said big some goals, some things I need to get done is because of what is driving me. So why do you want to achieve this goal? You have to ask yourself, because when you know the reason why you want to achieve those goals, you will be eager to achieve those goals. Now, yes, some things to pay attention to. I said we are all about simplicity. So we figured out that these 3 things, once you can fix them, then you can fix the result in your life. Once you can fix these 3 things, you can fix the result in your life. So what are these 3 things? Skill set. What are the skills? You have to set, once you can figure out skills, what are the skills you need to acquire? It will direct the type of goals you set. It will personally this year, I said, oh, Michael, you must be very sound in Facebook advertising. Then I took a course on Facebook advertising. So there are a lot of skills. And if I can master Facebook advertising, I can make money from it, which means it will affect my finances too. So what are the skills you need to take? You need to get? Like Tony mentioned in our session, emotional intelligence, critical thinking, all those skills are necessary. Set your goals towards that aspect. Those important skills. Another one is mindset. If your mind is too, and we'll be talking about that towards the end of this session. So if your mind is too small, there is little things you can achieve. There are just little things. So you have to always work towards having a more improved mind, which means you have to study, you have to read books. And that's one of what we'll be doing here. And it won't be your usual hardcover book, which means I'll be talking about that towards the end of the session. So you have to improve your mindset, because your mind determines your life. How you see, someone told me something, you don't see with your eyes, you see through your eyes. What to do the seeing is the mind, which means when your mind is blind, your eyes is useless. When your mind is blind, your eyes is useless. Two people can see the same thing. Where someone sees problem, another person sees opportunity. The difference is not what they are looking at. The difference is the mind of those looking at it. So you have to always improve your mind. And the last one is what I call the God set. I personally believe we are spiritual being in human body, not human being. No, we are first spirits. So we need to constantly improve our relationship with our God. Honestly, I was somewhere earlier today, and one of what it did to me was that, Mike, you have to be more serious with God. Because I see people, great successful people, talking about how God has influenced their life. Because I discovered that there are 4 things that will change your life. Number 1 is the skills you have. Number 2 is the strategy. Number 3 is the structure you put in place. And number 4 is the Spirit of God. So the Spirit is not optional, it's a necessity. And that doesn't mean whether you're a Christian or you're a Muslim. So the Spirit, you have to have goals towards you having a better spiritual life. So your goals, you should focus on your skill set, your mindset, and your God set. Your skill set, your mindset, and your God set. So now, goal setting is not enough. As a matter of fact, I've set goals several times, and at last, I did not achieve them. So goal setting is not enough. It's not enough for you to set goals. And it's not enough for you to set goals. Can you see? You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your system. If Manchester United and Liverpool are playing, sorry for the example, both of them will have goals of winning. But those that will, the team that will win eventually is those that have the right system in place. Just like athletes, if Usain Bolt and others are running, all of them have the same goals of winning. But what makes Usain Bolt special is the system he has built over time. So it's not enough to set goals. You have to write system. You have to have the right system to help you achieve those goals. And that's one of what we are doing at Quarter Life Up. Because personally, I've set a lot of goals. I want to do this, I want to do that. But at the end of it, no results. And result is the main thing. Result is the main thing. If our life is not commanding results, then people won't see the essence of anything we are doing. Your result is the main thing. And for you to have results, you have to put the right level of system, the right system in place. So you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your system. So as you can see, our life is a compound effect of small actions. It's the little actions you take daily that determine the result you will see in your life. So life is a result of compounded action. And here is how our life works. Your thoughts equal your choice. The type of choice you make daily is because of your thoughts. And the type of choice you choose will determine your decision. And your decision will determine your action. It's your decision that makes you say, I must be in this webinar this evening. It's your decision that makes you say, let me take action. Let me download Zoom to be here this evening. So it's your decision that affects your action. And action, what you do every time, the action you take, it affects your habit. It determines your habit rather. Habit is what you do consistently. Here's the way the brain works. The brain is always looking for a way to do less work. So whatever you do over time, it registers it as it brings it to your subconscious, which means you don't even have to think about it. If you are going somewhere for the very first time, you start becoming conscious. How should I do it? Where should I pass? But when you go there 5 times, 7 times, you don't think about it. You just go there subconsciously. So that is the way life works. Our habits, what we do over time, every time, and that is what determines the results. So if you are not getting the results you desire in life, what habits do you have? Because it is the habit, which is a product of a lot of actions, that will determine the results we come out. So I once heard James Clear saying, your financial results, your bank account is a product of your financial habits. And that day I was like, okay. Which means someone spending a lot of money, spending a lot of money rather, and not saving. That's bad habit. The person can never be financially free despite earning a lot. So when he said your financial result is a product of your financial habit, I started paying more attention to my financial habits. So it's this habit that determines results. So here's the way life works. Most times, after setting our goals, the next thing we ask ourselves is, what do I need to do? But that is not the first question you should ask yourself. The first question is, who do I need to become to achieve those goals? For example, there was a time I set goals of learning photography. And 1 year, even till now, though it's not really part of my main list now. 1 year after that, 1 year, I did not achieve any. Maybe few skills on photography. Why? Because I did not become someone that is capable of achieving that goal. Because most of my time was spent on social media, which means time I supposed to be learning photography. I'm browsing the net. So who do you need to become? Some of you, it might be that you need to become someone that is more action-oriented, more action-driven. Some of you might need to become someone more disciplined. Some of you might need to become someone that gets less distracted. So you have to figure out what you need to become, who you need to become, not what you need to do to achieve those goals. That's not the first question. The first question is, who do you need to become? Who do I need to become? Now, once you become someone, it is who you become that will determine if you will achieve those goals or not. It is who you need to become. Okay, so sorry, I'm taking more time. I have to be fast. So it is your perception about yourself that determines your reality. Your perception, how you see yourself, it determines your reality. So you have to have the right perception about yourself, because you can set those goals. If you don't see yourself as someone capable of achieving those goals, you would never achieve them. So I don't know what you believe yourself to be, who you believe yourself. You have to start changing the meaning you've given yourself. Nothing has meaning except the meaning you give to it. Nothing has meaning except the meaning you give. What meaning have you given to your life? Have you seen yourself as someone who is a failure or someone that cannot achieve anything? You have to start changing that meaning for you to achieve those goals. So self-identity is key to achieve those goals. As within, so without. It is who you are within that will determine who you will become without. So you have to start the process from within. And I love what Socrates said. He said, man, know thyself. Most of us, we are strangers to ourselves. We know everything else except ourselves. If I tell you, who are you? What most of us will reply is, I'm a lawyer, I'm this. No, you have to you have to know yourself. And there are some ways to become more self-aware. The first is SWOT analysis. Identify your strengths. Identify your opportunities. Identify your weakness. Identify your threats. What are those things that will hinder you from becoming whosoever you want to be? So do SWOT analysis on yourself. Your strengths, your opportunities, your weakness. So another thing is your personality. Pay attention to your personality. Pay attention to your personality. We have phlegmatic, we have choleric. There are different 4 major temperaments. Check yourself. Do personality tests. It makes you more self-aware. And another one is Johari window. Johari window, I wrote about Johari window in my book. Johari window, it helps you to become more self-aware. There are 4 parts of Johari window. There are some things you know about yourself only. Nobody else knows it about you. Okay, let me start from, there are some things you know about yourself. That's facade. Nobody else knows it about you. There are some things you know about yourself and others know about you. That's your name, all these general things. And there are some things you don't know about yourself and others know about you. Why there are some things you don't know about yourself and others they don't know about you. So you have to figure those things out. So now, what you need to become someone that can achieve those goals, answer the following question. What should I stop doing? What should I start doing? What should I do more often? And what should I do less often? So you need to ask yourself, what should you stop? There are some things you need to stop. There are some things you need to start. There are some things you've been doing before that you need to do more. Why there are some things you've been doing, it's not necessary that you need to stop them, but you need to do less of them to achieve your goals. So now, this is how you should live your life, your daily mode of operation. And it is an OR matrix. Some things are important and urgent. Some things are important and not urgent. Some things are urgent and not important. Some things are not urgent and not important. So those things that are important to you and urgent, do them. Those things that are important to you and not urgent, plan to do them. Don't distract yourself with it presently. Why those things that are urgent and not important, delegate them. Delegate them to another, those people that can do it. It's not everything you need to do. Delegate. And some things that are not urgent and not important, it's better you neglect it because it will affect your productivity. And once your productivity is against you, then you won't achieve your goals. So other critical success factor, your association. My association with Tony is what brought about this webinar. Your association, you must have mentors. Mentors are like shortcuts. They prevent you from making some mistakes they've made. So have mentors in some areas of your life. Who are you looking up to? Who have achieved what you want to achieve? Have mentors in that area. Purpose-driven friends. Another thing is accountability. We should all have someone we are afraid of disappointing. So you have to have accountability partner. And that's one of what we are achieving at Quarter Life Up. We need we need to be more accountable to ourselves. And now one is habit. You need to form the right habit. Another one is resourcefulness. All you need is all you have. So most times we think our problem is resources, but no, our problem is resourcefulness. We need to be more resourceful. Another one is discipline. You need to discipline yourself. And another one is constant evaluation. You need to constantly evaluate yourself. Another one is journaling. I'm trying to fast track things so that I will be able to meet up with time. Journaling. It keeps you on track. And another last one I want to talk about is have a gratitude jar. It's actually Tony that helped me with this. That's why I put my most recent app. And I've really been grateful I listened. It was only yesterday and I completely forgot that I did not write something I'm grateful for yesterday. It has been amazing. So it affects your success. Now, next step now. You have just one life to live. Nobody has second chance. We don't have spare tire, like car tire. We have just one. So it is important we live it well. If we live it well, once is enough. You don't need any spare one if you live this one well. So it is important you go big or you go home. If next 6 months your life will remain the same or it will be better, it's all about you. So now, what quarter life offers? That is why we are here. One of the reasons why we are here this evening. We want to introduce you to quarter life up. One of what among others we offer is short accountability system. You will be held accountable to anything you want to achieve. Your goals, you will be held accountable. You must achieve them by fire, by force. Consistent knowledge sharing session. So we are going to be bringing experts to teach us on certain things. We already have a list of some things people will be coming in to teach us about. We also have access to library of relevant audiobooks. Because we want to make everybody read, you must read to affect your mind. So we are going to be giving us audiobooks so that even as you go to your work, you will be able to listen to them. So advisory support, we will be giving advisory support because you will be receiving a call from me or Tony every week. So there will be advisory support. So a robust network of vibrant millennials. There's power in community. As a matter of fact, I know more about community when I read The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. You need to read that book. How community can help a lot of people. So we are bringing together millennials so that you will be a part of that community. Fun conversation. Anything can be boring. So the guests are sure of fun conversation. So now, the truth is that once you need to value whatever you are getting, and we honestly make this thing very cheap just because we want everybody to commit yourself. And it is what you commit yourself momentarily that you actually value. That's why we are doing this. So if you are willing to be a full-time member of this community and you want to enjoy all these benefits, a structured accountability system, consistent knowledge sharing, access to large library of relevant books, advice of everything, you be willing to pay just 12,000 naira for 6 months. It's just a commitment fee for 6 months. And interestingly, you can pay 2,000 naira monthly or 6,000 naira quarterly. Yeah. We want to make sure everybody get on board and you will be able to enjoy a lot of benefits. So I'm really grateful you are here. And I'm sure 6 months from now, you will never be who you are in January. So that is why you need to take action on this. That is why you need to be proactive this January, because you can't continue doing the same thing and expect different results. It's not possible. You have to do something differently. Personally, just by holding myself accountable, one of my accountability partners, I must submit a blog post every week, which means whether I'm busy or not, I must submit it. What that does is that it keeps me on track. I must submit the blog post. If I do not submit it, it will collect 1,000 naira from me. And I don't want to lose my 1,000. So that's one of the benefits of accountability and other benefits quarter life has to offer. So just make a commitment fee of 12,000 naira for the entire 6-month period and you are good. So what are you waiting for? This is the best time to make the rest of your life the best of your life. This is the best time, no other time. to make the rest of your life the best of your life. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm really grateful. I'll be looking forward to hear from us in the group. Other information will be passed on to the group. Please, thank you very much. I really appreciate you for joining me. Thank you, Tony, for giving me opportunity. Thank you. Now I'm a small boy. Thank you very, very much. I'll be looking forward to what we have to say, questions, everything we have to say on the group chat. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you. Thanks for joining me. Thank you. We'll continue the conversation in the group, and I'm looking forward to hear from us all. Thank you. Have a fantastic day ahead.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much.
Very much. Bye.
So we can all go to the group now to continue
Thank you.
conversation.
Yes, thank you.